Good afternoon, we are Claire, Shamian, Oliver and Wai Ching from Team AAA, and we are delighted to be presenting our solution to scale up the sustainable financing market. The need for more sustainable projects is pressing. With each passing day, it becomes harder to achieve our Paris Agreement goal of keeping emissions within a 2-degree global warming scenario. The most effective way to accelerate environmental efforts is via sustainable financing. In 2019, total green bond issuance accounted for 57% of total sustainable debt sales at $263 billion. However, that accounts for a mere 5% of total bond issuance. There's much potential for green bond sales to rapidly increase and account for a larger proportion of bond sales. Given the dominance of green bonds in the sustainable debt market, we have hence decided to improve on this financial instrument. We considered the problems associated with green bonds and have isolated the problem of greenwashing as the major obstacle in the growth of green bonds. There are a couple of factors which lead to greenwashing. Firstly, while there is a widely accepted set of green bond principles as set out by the ICMA, issuers are merely encouraged to follow these guidelines and are not legally required to adhere to them. Secondly, while independent external reviewers may be hired to assess an issuer's use of proceeds in relation to the green bond, these assessments are still highly subjective as they rely on the issuer's self-reported data. Lastly, there is no global standard on what constitutes a green bond. Investors have to grapple with great variation in the credibility of green bonds. For instance, bonds listed on Luxembourg's Green Exchange have to adhere to stricter requirements and are hence of a higher quality than a green bond that is issued in a new and emerging green bond market, where regulations are patchy. The combination of these factors have led to the problem of greenwashing, which in turn hinders the growth of green bonds. We hence came up with a solution of verifiable green bonds, which we call VGB, to enhance the verifiability and quality of data reporting.
So to tackle obstacles in the green bond market, we present to you the very first verifiable green bond, VGB. VGB is a combination of existing green bonds reinforced with distributed ledger technology, smart contract, and Internet of Things. Essentially, VGB is a financial product that protects investors from greenwashing and advocates companies to honor their green commitments. Companies can issue VGBs on the VGB platform, and investors can invest or trade on this platform too. The high feasibility of combining these technologies transform how the green bond market can be made more secure, efficient, and attractive. Let me first explain to you exactly what VGB is about. Firstly, VGB will be issued on a blockchain platform, which is a distributed ledger technology platform, the base of which VGB will exist. As shown on the right, parties on the VGB platform will hold unique identification codes, and when a bond issuance or transaction occurs, information of the action will be stored in the block, timestamped, and labeled with unique hashes so that no information can be altered retrospectively. All ledgers are decentralized and cross-authenticated, creating a secured environment. We have chosen a private permission blockchain system over public to increase the speed of transactions and ensure only permissioned parties can trade or issue bonds on this platform. The private blockchain platform will be governed by the bank that decides to adopt VGBs. The verifiable aspect of VGB is supported by the data feedback from on-site sensors and satellite monitoring to ensure companies meet their green claims. Sensors can be installed at projects funded by green bonds, for example, buildings, energy plants, or transportation facilities. Satellite data can also be obtained by contracting technology companies for additional monitoring. The data from sensors and satellites will be automatically transmitted back onto the VGB platform for verifications of companies' green claims set at the issuance of their VGB. In order to automate transaction and green verification processes, VGB utilizes smart contracts. Bond indenture will be stored on the smart contract, which is used to state the maturity, interest rate, principal, and any other information needed to issue bonds. This will allow VGB to automate its repayment processes. In addition to that, a key offering of VGB is that the issuance company of the verifiable green bond can state the green claims of their projects funded by the bond on the smart contract, including but not limited to how much carbon dioxide will a factory emit, or which category, for example Tier 1 to Tier 5, of this green bond should fall into when certified by third parties. This is crucial so that when data from sensors and satellites and classifications of green bonds by a third party gets input onto the VGB platform, the smart contract can automatically verify the information with what has been claimed by the bond issuance company, hence, verifiable green bond. To protect investors from the issuance company failing to meet its green claims, we have designed an investor protection mechanism for VGB. When forming the smart contract, the issuance company can choose from the menu on the left to either trigger a forced buyback, increase interest rate, or take no action in case the company's project does not meet the green standards claimed at the issuance. As mentioned earlier, the smart contract will automatically verify the monitored data and third-party classification being input and take necessary actions according to the contract. This mechanism ensures flexibility for the issuance company based on their confidence of achieving the green claims and providing more diverse choices for investors while protecting them from green defaults.
VGB is meticulously designed with the objectives of each stakeholder involved. For instance, the investor protection mechanism benefits investors as the protective covenants coded in the smart contract create strong incentives for its issuers to deliver on their green commitments. The use of objective and verifiable data reinforces investors' confidence in VGB. Secondly, the speed of conducting transactions will be higher as the use of blockchain eliminates the need for intermediaries. Lastly, VGB will be priced competitively since there are no additional costs for verification. Meanwhile, issuers benefit from lower issuing costs without any compromise in reporting quality. Instead, the quality of reporting data is enhanced. This is because issuing bonds via blockchain will save costs in a number of areas, including price structuring and settlements. Meanwhile, the integration of IoT with blockchain allows objective, quantifiable data to be recorded and monitored. This improves the overall quality of reporting data, greatly enhancing the issuer's green reputation, which may make refinancing easier after the first green bond issuance. As for banks, their revenues are projected to grow. Although they have to bear the high initial cost of developing this platform, the marginal cost of issuing a VGB will be lower than that of a conventional bond and will continue to decrease. Furthermore, as costs decrease and investors become less worried about the credibility of green bonds, demand and supply will work in tandem to increase the market size of green bonds. As underwriters and managers of the green bond, the bank's revenue will increase as well.
To evaluate the market feasibility, we will first understand how important green credentials and transparency are to investors. According to the Green Bond Investor Survey by the Climate Bonds Initiative, green credentials at issuance and post-issuance are among the top 3 factors that are important for investors in their decision-making process. In fact, green credentials at issuance are rated as important or even more important than pricing. This is because many investors already have an ESG agenda in their portfolio management, and pricing is not the sole factor for consideration. Therefore, besides establishing that there is a strong market demand for more effective reporting, we also use an existing impact-linked bond issued by INEO in September 2019 as a proxy for the market feasibility and attractiveness for the VGB. For context, INEO issued a $1.5 billion general purpose sustainability linked bond where the interest rate will adjust by 25 basis points if the target objectives for clean and affordable energy and emission-free productions are not met. This is the first bond to link the cost of capital to the achievement of Sustainable Development Goals outcome, which is similar to the concept of VGB self-executing actions. The market has responded strongly to this product with the order book 3 times oversubscribed of $4 billion. Hence, we find that there is a strong market demand for one key feature of VGB, which is on the self-executing actions of the smart contract. However, many investors remain cautious as INEO's impact-linked bond could be seen as lacking impact, as the use of proceeds and specific impacts are not tracked given it only evaluates on a company-wide level. Furthermore, without the reporting and transparency, dedicated green bond funds could not participate in such impact-linked bonds markets, which limits the market growth potential. As shown by the European Investor Survey, issuer transparency, transparent use of proceeds, and impact reporting are the important features that's ranked after positive fundamentals. Given that Inu's fundamentals are considered positive and stable by multiple rating agencies, it's likely that its success in bond issuance largely lies in its company's performance and less on its transparency. Hence, there is a high need for issuers' impact transparency in conjunction to the impact linking concept as introduced by Inu. This shows that we can expect that VGB's highly developed systems in providing more quantifiable data on emissions and energy production, for example, will enjoy strong market demand. Hence, using the combination of IoT and DLT technologies, VGB's main value proposition will be the bridging the gap in between green bonds and the impact-linked bonds at high speeds and reduced costs. Having shown the market attractiveness of the impact-linked bonds and the requirements for impact transparency, we find that the VGB will be highly attractive in the market by integrating the merits of both a green bonds reporting rigor and the transparency with the innovation of linking sustainable goals with the cost of capital. Besides this main value proposition, VGB's market attractiveness will further be enhanced by its time and cost savings.
Thank you, Wai Ching. Now that we know how VGB bonds function on the blockchain, let us look at how VGB will function financially. We have taken the financial implications of the issuing company and the bank into account as we explore how blockchain technology helps them either save money in the issuance of the bond or come up with optimal solutions. Let's assume that with a $300 million issuance with a duration of 10 years and an interest rate at 3.28% and issue rate of 3.26%. Firstly, we've broken down the proceeds, costs, and repayment for the issuing company. Let me start with the fixed costs. It includes legal review, risk rating, green validation, brokerage and sales, and sensor installment. This also includes a yearly reporting and data gathering fee for the entire lifespan of 10-year green bond. Referencing a report by HSBC, it was found that the standard process of issuing a bond will amount to $6.449 million. Using the cost breakdown for a full blockchain automation provided by HSBC, we have fine-tuned the total cost of VGB to come to around $910,000 for the entire life cycle of a typical 10-year green bond on a blockchain-based platform. This means that costs are reduced up to 83% when issuing on a blockchain platform compared to normal methods. Meanwhile, we have broken down the revenue and costs needed for banks to underwrite and issue a bond. This is in consideration that the banks pay for the private permission blockchain platform. Fixed costs include onboarding, cloud, maintenance, and monitoring costs. As our blockchain platform gets more advanced through the years and more bonds are issued on our platform, we expect to reap economies of scale and share the benefits with banks to lower aforementioned fixed costs. As such, we expect profit margins to rise from 13% at the start to a stabilized 79% at the end of year 10. We expect the verifiable other expenses to go up automatically as more issues are made. On a macroeconomic level, we are confident that we will get 10 bond issuance at the beginning. With more banks and issuers internalizing the benefits of VGB, we see that a 30 to 50% year-on-year growth is feasible, and at the end of year 10, we see that a total issuance will amount to roughly $79 billion. We've outlined a few risks for VGB, cybersecurity risks. Cyber attacks can seriously affect VGB as it relies on sophisticated data and critical customer information. We see that this can be mitigated through addition of blockchain nodes, robust firewalls, and backup generators. Next, competition. There's a possibility that exchanges will open up blockchain-based platforms at a low cost, creating direct competition. However, we do not see them as a direct threat in the short to mid-term, as it is time-consuming to streamline the new blockchain infrastructure to less advanced traditional exchanges. Lastly, we face the risk of regulatory ambiguity. We see that there are unclear, evolving, and varying regulations that may appear. However, we have preempted this by addressing foreseeable regulatory risks, and we will continue to identify process improvement opportunities and act on them. In conclusion, VGB is a unique solution where impact-linked green bonds offer transparency to investors with the added benefit of reducing costs for both issuers and bankers. VGB, designed for transparency, dedicated to verifiability, positioned to capture opportunities. Thank you.